He was a brilliant man. He was a brilliant man. But here's the point. Postmodernism writes out its individual stories by denying an overarching story. So they debunk words, they debunk logic, they debunk meaning, and they debunk the meta-narrative. There is no overarching story. You know, I was born and raised in India. And some time ago, my wife began to do a family tree study of my own life. She talked to one of my aunts who had lived to be 103. My wife comes from Canada. And she said, I want to know a little bit about Ravi's background and family. And page after page was written and written and written, and then I sent one to all of my brothers and sisters. I could only get back about 7 generations. How wonderful it is to know your own background, your own family tree, from whence you came. Think about being in this world and knowing nothing about its origin, knowing nothing about why you're here, knowing nothing about language, knowing nothing about meaning, knowing nothing about the story of why this world is meant to be. There's no meta-narrative. There's no overarching story. And ladies and gentlemen, von Schlegel years ago wrote a play about an audience sitting in an arena, in an auditorium, looking at a platform, waiting and waiting. The curtain rises. All of a sudden, all they see is the backs of people sitting on chairs facing the other side. And 5 minutes later, another curtain rises. And those on the stage are looking at another stage with other people sitting on their chairs and watching the backs of them, waiting for another curtain to rise. After about 20 minutes of this, the people in the actual auditorium start looking around to see if they too are on a stage. There's no point of reference whether you're author or spectator. You know, the tragedy, as I said, is genius gone wrong. Let me close with a couple of thoughts for you here. And with that, I will come to an end. Well, Sam, will you tell me the parable of the Good Samaritan? This is a young ordinand about to get his first interview. Yes, sir, I will, sir. Gladly I will. Once there was this man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked him. And as he went on his way, he didn't have no money. And there he met the Queen of Sheba. And she gave him 1,000 talents and 100 changes of raiment. And he got into a chariot and drove furiously. And when he was driving under a big juniper tree, his hair got caught on the limb of that tree. And he hung there many days, and the ravens brought him food to eat and water to drink. And he ate 5,000 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. One night when he was hanging there asleep, his wife Delilah come along and cut off his hair. And he dropped and fell on stony ground. But he got up and went on, and it began to rain. And it rained and rained 40 days and 40 nights. And he hid himself in a cave, and he lived on locusts and wild honey. Then he went on till he met a servant who said, come take supper at my house. And he made excuse and said, no, I won't. I have married a wife and can't go. And the servant went on into the highways and in the hedges and compelled him to come in. After supper, he went on and came down there to Jericho. And when he got there, he looked up and saw that old Queen Jezebel sitting down way up high in a window. And she laughed at him, and he said, throw her down out there. And they threw her down, and he said, throw her down again. And they threw her down 70 times 7. And of the fragments that remained, they picked up 12 basketsfuls, besides women and children. And they said, blessed are the peacemakers, P-I-E-C-E. Now, whose wife do you think she will be on that judgment day? It's a brilliant story, but it's not the story of the Good Samaritan. He didn't get the job. Do you know the story of the gospel? Tell me the story of Jesus. Write on my heart every word. Tell me that story so simple, sweetest that ever was heard. Tell how the angels, heaven, sang as they welcomed his word. Tell me the story of Jesus, write on my heart every word. She says, whisper it in my ear till I can see his love. Fanny Crosby, a blind woman. There's a story to be told. There's a story that's messed up, and geniuses are leading our world astray. Take to the word, take to his reason, find his meaning, and tell his story well. There are many who are waiting to hear good news. Postmodernism was bad news. God bless you.